what's truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new. Come on, man. Can you feel the pain? Into him now. About this new world. Ain't no train. Papa's got a brand new eye.
When you get a sec, check out my buddy Matthew Spear over there at the Dumb Show. Dumbshow.com. Get to see people like yours truly right here. Maybe that's a reason for you to not check it out. But check it out anyway. There's a lot of people better than me on there that a lot better stories. But check them out, dumbshow.com. Matt, take care, buddy. God bless you, everyone.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Hope everyone is doing well. Out of Facebook prison, which is exciting. I did my hair, brushed my teeth, and got all pretty. I just so excited for it. It's amazing. Yeah. So I reached out to Facebook this morning, and I was like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you guys? What? Because I haven't had a strike or even a you're a naughty boy type message in almost 4 years. We're still not monetized on our live videos. And what the hell's going on? And I played an Olympic NBC thing, and this is not a normal type suspension that usually takes place, from what I remember. And they're like, no, this is the person's like, no, this is a nuke option. Cause I'm verified on Facebook now. So I have a concierge that I can call, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are we unable to post? I can't post. I can't like, I can't share. I can't comment. I mean, I got people talking mad trash. I got to get to work, lady. And she said, this is the nuclear option. And I said, well, the only thing that means to me is that like you've created some sort of new fail-safe that when certain content is shared, that's pay-per-view or, subscription only, that you guys ultimately shut that site down for a period of time so they can't keep rebroadcasting. She goes, that's exactly right. What we found is that there's pirate pages out there that will play pay-per-view stuff like UFC or WWF or something behind a paywall, and we give them a strike, but then they're back on. And then we give them another strike, then they're back on. And then by the time our software recognizes it, it takes like 5 strikes to block the account and suspend them for 24 hours. And with the Olympics, by the time we went through that process, these sites would just screw people over. So what we do is that we suspend them immediately with no warning, no way to appeal, nothing, 24 hours. As soon as we understand the content, and that's all it was. I don't have a strike. I'm not throttled. There's no punishment whatsoever. I'm in perfect status with them. They're like, unfortunately with NBC, they're like, you can never stream the Olympics. They have a new clause with Facebook, and they pay us millions to block anyone who streams. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense now. And I was fine with it. Honestly, it was a very relaxing day, 24 hours of not having to deal with Facebook. So I just got some rest done. CJ Jenkins starting off the donations already. CJ, you're just a peach. So we're back. I want to address something. There used to be a viewer who was on our show, and there's some people who don't like the show anymore, who were religious fans of the show, and religious in the sense of not religious, but like, dedication. And they moved on and they don't like the show. Maybe I said something that bothered them, which is completely very, very common. Or I was being an ass, or they were being an ass, and I called them out on it. But we lose fans, and we've lost some really cool people. And this is why the show's called Don't Unfriend Me, is because we're going to tell the truth here. We're going to say the things that are accurate, and we're not always going to agree. But anyway, Mike Johnson, a person who I've tried to repair, but person was saying some things about me and sending messages to people, to a person who is then sending them to me to create confrontation. And of course that relationship hasn't healed itself. And whatever bitterness there is about it, I don't hold any animosity towards Mike. I know there were some things that he had said a couple times that I didn't like, so I called him out on the show, and he didn't like that at all. And whatever, I mean, honestly, if he called in, I'd just be like, dude, let's put this under the bridge. But he came on last night and said, hey, you said Facebook didn't monetize you, and you said you were going to lose all your income if you lost Facebook. So why are you lying to us? And, are you, blah, blah, blah. And I want people to understand something. Facebook is our bread and butter when it comes to viewership. And it's our biggest channel outside of YouTube and Rumble when it comes to viewership on our live shows. Like right now, we've got 85 on Facebook, 23 on YouTube, 31 on Twitter. It's going to get bigger. But we need Facebook. We need Facebook for coffee sales and shirt sales and donations. So that's why. But, here's my thing. If you guys have questions about that stuff, just come to me. You don't need to post it on Twitter. So, I know what he's doing. He's obviously a person who's not a big fan of mine. He's called the hosts of the show, and he's reached out to other fans of the show and try to get people to turn. And it's petty. If you still watch the show, then you might want to ask yourself the question, why do you watch the show? Well, because the show is a quality show, and we do great content. That's why you watch it. And if you're not participating in chat and you're not talking to people, then you're watching it for the content. And if that's the case, then you should probably get over whatever petty stuff you got, so you can enjoy the show, but also take advantage of the great people in the show. So, I mean, you can watch any way you want. My haters watch just as much as the fans. So anyway, point is, you got a question about me, you probably want to ask me, and maybe not just do it on one of my channels and know that you're trying to just get people to see it and create drama. Nice shirt, Matt. Thanks. It's one of those stretchy. I like them, because, and fits. I'm a big fan. Matt, are you feeling better? Yes, I'm feeling much better. Walking aids is over. I still have a little headache and I got some congestion and I'm still on antibiotics, but I'm ready. I am so stoked for tonight. I want to make a call out for this is just the hour up to this. We always do this. We try to come on and warm it up and get people to watch and maybe do some call-ins. You guys can call in if you want. And if you got something to say, and say, hey, you know what? I got something to say. And we'll talk about it. What do you think Donald Trump's going to talk about tonight? I've got my ideas. What are yours? So you can call in on the Zoom line. Love to have you on there. And you're welcome, Kay. We love you too. So I want to make another call out. So today, everyone knows that I kind of had some struggles with Benny Johnson, and not personally. Benny knows I exist. I know he knows I exist, but Benny Johnson doesn't know me. And if I met Benny Johnson, I would probably have a really good conversation with him. And because he seems like a very likable human being, you know, that's just my opinion. But where I have, and there's always a but, what I have a challenge with Benny is that I believe that he's the red meat for the GOP. And he doesn't always see the forest for the trees, and he doesn't necessarily look for the truth, and will clickbait to garner reaction. And to me, I think that's disingenuous, and I think it ruins someone's character. And that's my critique. But I've also said that he donates and gives back time and cares about people, and his personal stories are always true. He sometimes jumps really fast at stuff and makes them sound a hell of a lot more desperate or dire or fearful than they need to be. And I don't like that stuff. That bothers me, because in the end, somebody has to clean up that mess. And if you're not owning it, then you're a garbage guy. But instead of picking up garbage, all you do is drop it off. So I've critiqued and called him out. Plus, he stole my set, my old set, not this set, my old set. And everybody knows it, no matter what he says. But today, he did something that was just so admirable. And he had made a post, and there was a video that came out of some girls who were saying some things that were, I don't know, probably about the hockey team or something else. I don't remember what it was. And he's like, oh, look at this liberal, and look at this liberal, and look at this liberal, and they're all leftists, and, you know, typical blah, blah, blah. And he jumped the gun, and he immediately labeled them that way. And you know, a couple of people came out and made videos and said, you know, Benny, you're wrong. This person is this person. She's a Christian. She's a patriot. She isn't talking anything about politics. This isn't a political person. And he made a video and wrote a public apology and contacted her and said, hey, I own it. I went way too fast. I made a mistake, and I'm seriously sorry. And I've already reached out to that person and apologized profusely, and I'm reaching out to the others. And to me, that's awesome. You know what I mean? And I'm really, really proud of him on that. And I thought it was great. I really did. So I got to give Benny some props. And to me, I'd like to see more of that from him. And then he was doing a live stream just a minute. I started watching his live stream, and I was 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I'm really enjoying his stream. And because he was genuine, he saw Nancy Mace, and he went in on his set, and he's in the White House. And I was like, well, it's not jealousy. It's admiration, right? My old stuff with him was just personal conflict that I didn't agree with some of his ethos. But today, it was an admiration, like, wow, man, you've really done well for yourself. And I was proud of him, I guess, if that's not too contrived and patronizing. You know what I mean? So I thought I'd share it with you. People are asking, is Donald Trump on yet? Why would he be on? It's not even 9 o'clock yet. We got an hour. Kick back, relax. Do you really think I'm going to miss the State of the Union? Have I missed it in 5 years? Why would I miss it now? I didn't even miss it for Bozo Shits His Pants. You think I'm going to miss it for Donald J. Trump? No, I'm not going to miss it for Donald J. Trump. You know what I mean? So if you're wondering if Donald J. Trump is going to come or not.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come. Oh.
All right. Thank you, Dawn. That means nice. Hair looks nice. And Hayden and Olivia are making me grow it out a little bit. And I don't know. I got a big forehead. Maybe there's some makeup out there. Clickbait calls to one's credibility. I agree, John. I agree. He's going to kill it when the economy is about to boom. Yeah, Jeremy. And let's talk about what we think Donald Trump's going to talk about tonight. And I can tell you that this will be an economic focused speech. Ask me if I got a forward advance of the State of the Union or not. This will be an economic focused speech. I think he's going to draw a lot of lines to religion. I think he'll spend a good deal of time on Charlie and Erica in the sense of the spirituality of America and where we're going. Maybe the revival a little bit. I don't think it'll be a sermon, but I think he'll mention that. I think he might even be reflective of his first term and make some comparison contrast on where he's at as a person. I think he will most assuredly explain the border and how it's secure. I think he will talk about his achievements with conflicts that have been around the world. I think he'll take a little bit of a shot at the justices while they sit there, very, very carefully about the tariffs. He'll probably say, you guys might recently have heard some news that blah, 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 mention the SCOTUS. But that's okay. We got to work around. I think he'll make light of it. I think he'll spend a very, very long amount of time focused on the people who stand against the United States and the evildoers around the world who don't recognize that this country is no longer under the feckless leadership of Joe Biden. The economy will probably be the focus. And the reason why is because that moves into 2026, where the number one topic is going to be, as it always is, it's always the economy, but affordability. And I want him to be careful, because if you sit there like you did with COVID and say, hey, everything's fine because I took a kit while grandma and moms are dying and daughters are dying and sons and grandpa, it kind of makes you look like a jackass. So what I don't want him to do is come out and just be like, hey, everything's solved. We got it. It's affordable now, because it's not. But he gets to talk about the dollar no longer depreciating. He gets to talk about GDP production and predictions of Q2, Q3, and the excitement that's around that. He gets to talk about the Dow. Dow took a dip, but that's okay. It's still extremely high. 401ks. He gets to talk about the Fed. He gets to talk about the new Fed chairman. He gets to talk about lowering interest rates. He gets to talk about inflation and where inflation is an all-time low. He gets to talk about overall payroll increase. And ultimately, this impact of the strengthening dollar will lower housing prices, will allow the Fed to go ahead and take off an interest rate, a quarter rate or two. I think Donald Trump's going to talk about data centers. I think that's going to be his new thing, the embrace of AI. I think he's all in with that. And there's trillions of dollars that are going to be poured into the United States over the next 2 decades when it comes to AI in the data centers. And I think this was phase one of his strategy, was to get energy at a price where these companies could come into the United States. And now it's going to be, let's build the infrastructure, sell the contracts, and start getting jobs. I think you might hear him call for a Reagan-esque or even a Bush re-education of America, or an expansion of people's skill sets. Obama did that, and it was actually quite clever. And one of the things I agree with Obama is, we need to go back to school. We need to have people expand their abilities, and we don't want to be replaced by a robot. So how do we go ahead and get the skill sets that make us invaluable to a business? I think you'll hear something about that. I imagine he'll have words for Iran. I think he'll have words for Vladimir Putin, and he may do that as a over 50,000 foot look on Ukraine and Russia, and how that war needs to stop, and focus more on the humanitarian side of it and the lives being lost needlessly. I would expect him to obviously celebrate U.S. hockey and gold. I think that's a big one, and I think he might even take a stab at Trudeau. Not Carney. So there's a lot here. I mean, this guy has accomplished an incredible amount in a very short period of time. And I think you're going to hear a lot of cheerleading, but I think you're going to hear about a hope for the future more than anything else. Hi, baby. Want to say hi to everybody? Want to come up? Come on. Hey, right here. I know my shirt smells funny. It's dry cleaning. Hi. There's Ash. There's Ashla. Oh, Ashla. Oh, Ashla. My baby puppy. My baby puppy. Thanks, sweetie. Lay down. Get in your spot. Lay down. Lay down. Don't go spend with moms. Be with me tonight. Thank you. Lay down. All right. So I think you're going to hear some accolades. You're going to hear some braggadocious a little bit because it's Trump. But I think this will be a very hopeful speech. I think it's one that's going to, America is back, and America is on the pathway to reestablishing itself as the moral, the fiscal, the spiritual, and the might leader of the world. And in all four quadrants, we've been there at one point, and I think we get there again. And I think that's going to be the message tonight. So we shall see. But that's a good chance. If you guys have some ideas, give us a call. But he's going to talk about taxes, right? I mean, he's got to do that. It's tax time. So imagine when he's telling people, listen, you have this to look forward to. And by doing that, he's setting the groundwork. His favorability right now is 41%. It's very similar to where Biden was, where Bush was. Even Obama in their second term, first year. So his numbers aren't terrible. The numbers are good with the base. He's 89%. He's not doing very well with independents, but either are Democrats. And he's not doing well with women, but either are Democrats. So the only thing hated more than Donald Trump in America are Democrats. So recognize that. But you can't win in November and February. You're not going to. So when you guys are worried about the numbers, oh my God, they've lost the midterms. You can't possibly know that, because it only matters in the last 90 days, to be honest with you. And the question is, will gas prices be low? Will we see an interest rate cut or two in September, October? Will we see inflation go down? We will see goods and services remain flat, but the overall valuation decreases cost because the valuation of the dollar is higher than it was. Will our stock market reach new booms based upon the Q2 and Q3 projections and when the GDP numbers come out? And if we are showing numbers of 5.8 or 5.5 or even 6, my God, Americans will remember that. And when they get their tax break and they see their taxes, they're going to go, oh my gosh, this is less than I paid last year. So all of these things will impact the midterms. It's February. Most Americans don't get involved in the politics, especially the midterms, which it's a non-presidential year. So these primary midterms are really, it's hard to get involvement. And people are probably going to check in a little bit shorter than they usually do. I would expect that 90-day mark to 120-day mark is really going to be the sweet spot. And if we can see in August that Donald Trump is on a good run, then he owns that news cycle. And as long as he continues to do the things he needs to do, and if somehow can bring peace in Ukraine and Russia, these midterms very well could be the 5th time in U.S. history that at the halfway point of a first term, that it doesn't switch over power to the opposition party, because that's what has happened, is we've lost it. Whether it be Democrats or Republicans, the incumbent always loses it in the second half on midterms. It's just the way it has, except for 4 other times. So this will be the 5th time if this miracle takes place. But once again, U.S. wasn't supposed to win gold in women's and men's, and look what happened. It's the golden age of America. Look what happened in Venezuela. Donald Trump's on a run right now. And dare I say, it's kind of hip and cool to be a Trump supporter. Now, Democrats will tell you that it's not, that he's Satan and he's evil, but they've been saying that shit for 10 years. But remember, there was a time it was very toxic outside of the Democrats doing what they always do to be a Trump supporter. And a lot of us felt those pain points during COVID and during the election, and some of the charges and him selling gold cards and EBTs and sneakers and leather Trump Bibles. I mean, some of us were probably like, okay, come on, man. Focus on the country. Let's go. And he did, and he dialed it in. But that last year and a half after 2021, it was kind of the low point for Trump. And where Trump really started to see the forest through the trees was Butler, Pennsylvania. Once they tried to kill him and he survived, I think this is when the belief in God probably was a struggle for someone like Trump. And I want you to understand is that, you know, you travel the world and you see things and you're in business and you hear stories of people and it's a very easy way to become bitter and cynical. And if you're a billionaire, there's not much you haven't done or haven't seen. And I don't know if God is always a primary focus for a billionaire. I'm not saying they don't believe, but church is always is not always the primary thing. Prayer is not always the primary thing. And I know in the military, I became very cynical, and a lot of military guys do, because the shit that we saw overseas kind of made us go, really? Wow, I don't know. But so I think when Butler, Pennsylvania happened, it's not that Donald Trump started believing in God, because I don't think that's ever been a question. I think that Donald Trump actually said, holy God believes in me. And I'm worthy of his love. And that is a great feeling. And it's an amazing feeling. It's something that I've been trying to explore, especially over the last 7-8 months, and most of you have been on this journey with me. And being worthy of God's love is inherent, but knowing it, feeling it, believing it is a difficult thing for a lot of people. And you hear that in his language on Air Force One, where he's like, no, I don't know which place I'm going. I don't know if I'm going here or there. You know, very, very humble. I haven't heard him that humble ever, unless he's talking about veterans or Gold Star families or angel moms. It's the first time I've heard him talk about that and like that when it comes to God. So I think Donald Trump went through a transformation. And unfortunately, his cross to bear is that realization has changed him, made him a better president, made him more focused. And yes, he still says things that make people upset and, you know, all of that stuff. But a lot of that is their issue, not his. So I expect a very hopeful State of the Union tonight. I think it's going to be super long. And let me tell you why. I don't think it's going to be super long because Donald J. Trump has anything more to say than what Donald J. Trump always says, which is a lot. But to let you know, the Democrats, and I'm going to make this prediction right now, I think that, yeah, I'm going to say it. I think the Democrats may have found their 2028 candidate. And I was going to keep this a little closer to the vest, not because I'm trying to hide anything, but I wasn't sure. Oh, I'd take the over on the 90-minute speech. I'd take the over. I'm going to say, I'll make that prediction in a second. I think the Democrats have found a possible, now when I say possible, they're going to feel her out tonight. They're going to introduce her to America. And they did this with Gretchen Whitmer. They did this with Hakeem Jeffries, and they've done this with several Democrats. And none of them really worked out. Hakeem is, Gretchen Whitmer, although popular, she doesn't have it. She's not ruthless enough. She's just stupid and listens to the wrong people. She has shown signs of having a brain at times. Her work with Trump on the lakes and when it comes to ICE and the deportation, she hasn't been as resistant as other governors have. And her popularity is actually pretty decent in Michigan. You don't have to like her. I know what she did during COVID. I'm not defending her. Knock it off. I'm talking politics, right? We're talking about the truth, because we can sit here and play games and, oh yeah, Gretchen Whitmer's hated. She's not. And that's why I told you she was going to win re-election, and everyone said she won it. Okay. But tonight the Democrats are going to introduce to America socialism, progressivism. And the party has realized that this is where they're moving towards. And the vision for America is what's happening in Virginia. And Spanberger is going to do the Democrat response tonight. And that is purposeful. That after midterms, the presidential campaign will start 19 months to 22 months before the election. Pretty much right after midterms, starting in January or February, you'll start getting declarations for running for president. People will start feeling it out in the field, will start showing up. Poll captains will be purchased. Delegate assignments will begin. And you'll start seeing the presidential election start taking shape. For them to put the Democratic response in her hands right now is very strategic. And it's usually to the person that they're going to run for president if there's not an incumbent. This is not good. Spanberger is destroying Virginia already. And if you follow the show, you know these things. And we don't need to get into a whole bunch of detail. By the way, donations tonight, Olivia will be putting them in. She's taking a shower. And no, she's not on tonight. I'm not going to make her stay on. It's too late. She needs to get some rest. She's been working her butt off, and she was sick too. So it's just going to be me. So Spanberger doing the response tonight is absolutely a message. And this is strategic. And she may just bomb. She may bomb. But she is Hillary Clinton 2.0 without all the baggage. She's going to get some baggage, but she's relatively clean right now. Her CIA background, everything else, you know, she doesn't have the dirt on her. And a presidential election has one great quality. It'll expose you. And anything that you don't want to be known about you will be known. So Spanberger is something that I want you guys to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch the Democrat response because I don't care. I know what she's going to say because we rallied against her as governor of Virginia. President Trump is leaving. FYI. So something to think about is Spanberger is being purposely groomed for this position and being presented to America tonight. And they're going to get a lot of not exit polls, but they'll get some polls on her. And they're going to ask some questions. Is this person likable? Favorability ratings. What are the opportunities in her presentation? Did you like what you heard? Did you like what you heard? Did she cover the things you were looking for? Would you vote for her? Do you think she would make a strong vice president? They'll ask these questions and they will get these polls back. And the good news is that they can use a third party non-Gallup or RCP poll and use a third party firm to call, you know, the top 2% of donors of Democrats and use that pool to get an idea. And if her favorability comes back strong, and unfortunately, because she's a progressive and a liberal and white, it will. And this is my concern. So watch for that. Watch for this is very purposeful, folks. Very, very purposeful that they would pick Spanberger to do the Democratic response. How many of Trump's executive orders have been codified? So, yeah. The show did not come back up on Facebook last night because we got blacklisted for 24 hours. We're all back now. Everything's fine. We're safe and we're home. So what are your thoughts? I mean, you guys, if you have some questions, I'm going through chat. I'm reading. Matt, do you think Trump will go off script? And if so, what do you think it'll be? I think Trump will take small portions, but when you're doing a State of the Union, his record so far, this will be my fifth State of the Union hearing President Trump. And he usually stays on script. It's just the scripts are long. And he will veer off. But remember, what's not built into the speech is the standing and the applause. And, you know, there are times during these State of the Unions that, you know, one side will stand up 70 times, sometimes 30 or 40 times. And that adds to it, y'all. So what's the over under on his minutes? I think it's, I think it's a good question. Sorry, still sick. I'm gonna see if I can cheat a little bit. And the reason why is because I want to get, I know 2017, I know 18 and 19's time. I want to hit the others. So on average, 85, I would say this one goes to 96 minutes is my guess. 96 minutes on the State of the Union tonight. 96. Oh, that would be 96 a lot. 85 is average. Do I think he goes 11 minutes over? Yeah, he's got the hockey team there. That's gonna be a minute and a half, 2 minutes. He's got Erica Kirk there. He's got Angel Moms there. No, cane shaking will not happen tonight. He's not allowed. He's been banned from all State of the Unions. He won't be there. And, 40, 50 Democrats aren't showing up. Yeah. Matt, are you buying electric leaf blower and a lawnmower? I guess an EV as well. Well, I have an electric lawnmower and I have an electric leaf blower. I have all electric. The problem is the property's too big. So I have a military buddy of mine who comes around 6 months out of the year. He mows it once every 2 weeks. And he mows the property for us. But I have an electric mower just in case I need something done and a weed whacker and all that type of stuff. So a lot of people are not going to show. We know that. And that's good. The less Democrats, the better. It just helps them. It just helps with visuals. And it makes their side quieter. Senator John Thune and Vice President J.D. Vance are entering the building. Cornyn is right there, Democrat, going to the left there, along with Schumer. Yeah, I think 92 to 96 minutes is a good number. Yeah, 75 Democrats are going, good. Good, they shouldn't be there. Quit. Show America that you don't care. Matt, did you see the Democrat lady who said she'd rather stick forks in her eyes than watch? I did. Yeah. This is great. Don't show up. It'll be nothing but cheers. If I was the conservative side, I'd go and bring my family down from the rafters and sit them in the Democrat seats, get them better seats. Looks like the Joint Chiefs are here. We've got 2 Marine Corps generals, United States Navy, 3 Air Force. Look like an adjunct was them as well. Looks like we're going to have good military representation tonight. Well, Supreme Court justices will all show up. Supreme Court justices will stay apolitical. At least they should. The Joint Chiefs and the SCOTUS usually, the SCOTUS will never stand for, I don't think they stand for anything. I don't even think they stand for happy stuff. They may. But they most assuredly will not stand for political stuff. The Joint Chiefs will only stand for military stuff, like Venezuela and God bless our troops. They'll all stand for that plot. Yeah, there you go, Phil. Do what they did during COVID. Oh, Phil, that's fucking genius. Fucking genius, Philly. Oh my gosh. Do I have anything for you? Sorry, puppy. I got excited. Phil said something. Do I even have anything for you? I had some applause or something. Oh, I do. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Phil. Just like COVID when they did it in the sports and they put the cardboard fans in the stands, make cardboard cutouts of all the Democrats and put them there. That would have been genius. Oh my God. Put Klan hoods on them. How close is the White House to the Capitol building? It's not far at all. Few minute drive, actually, 5 minutes. There's no traffic. Yeah, he's already there. I mean, it depends on time of night. It depends on routing of traffic. His motorcade's fairly large, but yeah, about 5 minutes. And he's on time. Joseph, you never been to the Capitol? You got to go, guys. You got to go. You got to go to the Capitol at least once. Now, I live right next to it, and we haven't been more than twice. But I've been to it several times and worked in the area. So, kind of good. Know what I mean? All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything? Anybody got anything? Oh, James Cody's in here? Good. Good to see him back. I missed the first few minutes of tonight's show. What got the show blacklisted? It was just that, sweetie, just lay down. Mommy's not coming in. It's you and me, hun. Yeah, Ashy. Mommy's not coming in. Lay down. Lay down, babe. Mommy's not here. She's upstairs. She's in the shower. Ashy, do you want a treat? You want a treat? Hayden? Come here, babe. We got you. Would you please give her a treat? Give her half a banana or something. She needs something. She seems sad. Don't roll your eyes at me. I love you just as much as her, kind of. Close the curtain. Hey, Liv, we got to put in donations, baby. Thank you. Yeah, X is back working. All right. CJ Jenkins donated $31.40. You sound better. Looking forward to the show tonight. Me too. I'm looking forward to it too. We got 17 minutes and 24 seconds until the top of the hour. I had some videos and stuff to show you. And we'll just keep talking. Ted Cruz in the house. Senator Ted Cruz. Some people say Texas is going to turn purple. Give me a break. Be quiet. Texas is not going to flip. Joseph, you come out to D.C. area. I'll take you to D.C. I'll go show you around. Matt, did you do the jacket drawing last night? No, Christine, we didn't. That's a great call. We could do that, can't we? Because we got a crap ton of people on. Good job. Yeah, let's do that now. Excellent job. Thank you for reminding me. No, we did not do the jacket drawing. We're going to do it right now. That's a great call. Sorry. Well, what the? Where's my link share? What the name of Sam Hill? What? Save? Update? Copy link? All right. Good call. Yeah, we didn't do it last night because it got busy. Matt, my dog thinks your voice is relaxing. She always falls asleep when we're watching. Yeah, she's bored to shit. One of the two. That's awesome. Matt, I don't know what it is, but last night's show, it just felt different. Just thought we were all sitting outside hanging. Oh, no, I love that, dude. Dude, there's a little bit of a change in me. is I started looking back on some of the conversations, and it's how I want to show up. And no, I think you're going to recognize some things. I'm feeling, I think I've gotten all the frustration out of my system, and I'm starting to get a little bit more mature with the way this stuff works in politics, and not being so frustrated, and just kind of saying, guys, forest through the trees here. Let's get the big picture. But it felt good last night. It really did. And I wasn't even that stressed about Facebook, surprisingly enough. I mean, I was like, oh shit, we can't do the show. We're done. I'm a doom and gloom type of guy when things don't go, and I get stressed out. But even that wasn't terribly serious. Matt, do you have any info or opinion on what's happening in Mexico? I do, but I want to wait for that, and we can do that tomorrow. Fair? Matt, do you think he'll back up the Mexican government with the cartel issue? I think Donald Trump is going to be very, very clear that either they do it or he will. He's not screwing around. And they've made it very clear, if you harm one hair on an American citizen's head, that there will be hell to pay. And they better believe it, because Donald Trump, we've been collecting intelligence on the cartels now since he's gotten back in office. And there have been DC-10s and E-2s and EC-130s and drones, ISR, nonstop. We've got a battle group down there in the Gulf of Mexico and Baja, and they are just literally doing signals intelligence capture all day long. And so we've been collecting all the profiles we need and locations of these cartel members. And if they so much as blink, we're going to blow them out of the fucking sky, ground, jungle. You get my point. Oh, nice. Steven says, I'll be in DC in May with a pipe band for Police Week. That'll be badass. Let me know. Go to breakfast or something. I feed my rabbit and turn the show on, and now he gets the zoomies when he hears the intro theme. Yes, great. That's great. Matt, hopefully you don't call me a wanker ever again. Now hear this. I won't call you a wanker.
Wank!
Wanker can go both ways. It's like, hey, you're being a wanker. Or you're a wanker. There's a difference. If you get the wanker song, it's like, it should be a badge of honor. Facebook just notified me that we are live now. Yeah, well, at least they are notifying. All right, let's do this. Let's do this spin. This is for jacket number 2 entry for February. I'll be honest, it wasn't a huge, I think money's a little bit tight for people. So we're going to do it again. And next, not this Friday, but the next Friday. But we made enough, and we are going to do the spin right now. So let's find out who wins the jacket. And thanks for reminding me. Here it is. And of course, sound's not working. I don't know what the sound. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Carrie. Oh man, that. You know what? That makes me happy. That makes me happy. You want to know why that makes me happy? Because it's people who donated over, I think, on that one, who got Carrie in. And that's the second time it's happened. It happened with Elizabeth Hall. And I think our viewers appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because the community pitches in together. And Carrie has just come so far. She's watched us for a long time. And that makes my heart happy. That makes my heart happy. That's a good one. That's a good win. We're going to ship all of these out along with Tammy. Tammy Kohler's going to get hers as well. She goes, Matt, oh, how can I ever believe you again? I was just ribbing you that night for levity. I don't even remember what it was about, Sherry. I don't even remember. Sorry. I don't even know what it was. I love you either way. You know that. Come on. Carrie, that makes me happy. Absolutely awesome. That's exciting news. Carrie Spricks, jacket winner. Remember, folks, that's awesome. No, I didn't add Carrie. We used one of her the extra donations for that. You know what I'm saying? So we used one of the extra donations. So we can't afford to do that all the time. That's why it gets expensive. So it doesn't matter. It's awesome. And Carrie deserved. Oh my God, that made my day. Had a rough month, and this is so cool. Well, we're happy for you. You deserved it. You deserve it. You've spent a lot of time here. She does a lot of good stuff for the show, and she helps out. Everybody does. There's so many people. Like I said, I wish I could give a jacket to everybody. I can't. But if we can keep doing this, eventually we'll get there. Jim Brown donated $25. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you. So congratulations, Carrie. You certainly earned it. Oh yeah. Sherry goes, Matt, you were singing while sick. Oh yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Yeah. I completely get it now. I remember. How dare you? How dare you? I meant you called Carrie out by name. Oh, huh? I'm confused. Carrie, congratulations. All right, remember, next jacket drawing. I got some news for you before we start, because the State of the Union looks like going to go live. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure this is ready. Wouldn't it be great if you showed up early? Sorry, I got to get this thing to catch up. Hold on. Oh my God, stop blocking this thing. There we go. A couple things. Not this Friday, next Friday, another jacket drawing. We're going to ship all of the jackets out. And I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 to send out, maybe. So those will go out at the end of February. We'll get them ordered right around that time, and then they'll take a little bit of time to ship, and then we'll get them to you. So if you haven't taken pictures of jackets and your gear, please do. We always love those. And I just expanded my photo album on our page so we can put a ton more photos up there. So if you wouldn't mind, please take some photos and send them in. I think we just got photos of a couple pictures. We got this one. Aw, look at that. And we all signed them. Isn't that cool? So beautiful. Oh, I love it. Even the dumb shows on the TV in the back. So if you get a jacket, take a picture, show it. We'll put it on the site. Happy for you, Carrie. All right, the next thing. Jessica Lynch has confirmed, POW, I think it was 2003, has confirmed she will be here March 31st, which will be the night before her capture, I believe, or her, Bubba, was it capture or her release and rescue? But either way, well, I haven't done all the research on her yet, and I read her book, God, forever ago. But we have confirmed Jessica Lynch for the 31st. We're also going to have Philip Hamilton here, Senate candidate for Virginia's coming. Also, 2 people who were involved in January 6th who ran from the FBI and received pardons from Trump will be here. I'm going to tell their story. And they now advocate for J6ers who are being still persecuted to this day, but not from legal means, but in the real world. I want to give them a platform. I want to talk to them. They're going to be here. Looks like all the SCOTUSes just arrived, by the way. We've got a bunch of shows. We have Jack and Mandy coming tomorrow and they're going to premiere on the internet for the first time. It's already been on Newsmax, the Fascism in America documentary that they made, and they're going to be here to talk about it. So you guys got to be here tomorrow night. It's going to be huge. Captured on a 3 weeks, give or take, for rescue. Okay. So Jessica Lynch is going to be here. We're excited. So we got a bunch of people coming on. I think Olivia's booked through March, starting tomorrow. So be prepared for that to happen. I am going to move over to the State of the Union now, and we're still open for questions. I'm not going to be pausing this. I don't want to interrupt it. I am going to have to do station identification once in a while, and that means just coming in and saying something, so they don't kick us off live, or we don't, get a copyright strike. But I will try not to interrupt it. Okay. But there's a lot of good things coming, folks. The fact that we're getting people like Jessica Lynch, that's huge. We got Tonto back. We've had some really good people, so we're starting to get a lot of guests, and a couple of these guests are going to be in studio, which is even better. They're going to be here, so we're finally getting some momentum, which is exciting. 3 minutes and 37 seconds. We should have the president's entry here. SCOTUS has arrived, and they're usually the last. Unceremoniously, J.D. Vance usually comes in before the president and gets seated with the speaker, then SCOTUS, and so we should have Donald Trump here any minute. Let's get to the show, because I know we want to watch it. I do not plan on talking through this much. Like I said, I'll turn it down during lulls and simply let you know what's going on. Goal tonight, 5640. I really don't want to have to do goal asks, so please understand we're going to be on for at least 3 hours tonight. We would really like to hit goal. We're asking for a goal of 500 just because of, it's a little bit longer than usual. If we can try to hit that, that'd be great. If not, that's okay. We'll figure it out. So let's go ahead and turn on the volume as soon as the SCOTUS are seated. Looks like a lot of Democrats did show up. And Vice President's wife there.
For this to get started.
I want to bring in
as well.
Laura Ingraham to our coverage on our panel. Laura, good evening.
Fancy meeting you guys.
Hey, here you are.
Yeah, fantastic.
How do you think this plays out tonight, and how do you see it as it sets up for this speech?
Well, I talked to him about an hour and a half ago, right before my show, and he sounded really calm, and he sounded really positive. And I sound surprised when I said it, but you can be kind of rough. But he's very, very positive. And he said, we just have a great story to tell, and it's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. And that was interesting because, as Dana, you talked about on the 5, the optimism wins the day here. I mean, not everybody's going to feel this economy in the way he wants them to feel it, not yet. But optimism about our 250th birthday, what we hope for our next generation, and the sacrifices of, there's the First Lady, obviously walking through to huge applause. But he was extremely, he seemed really at ease and really ready to go. He wished it was starting earlier.
Let's listen in. That's the First Lady and Barron Trump. Barron
Mr.
Trump
Speaker,
at New York University, and obviously the First Lady after a documentary in which she's getting a lot of praise for. There you see the cabinet.
Mike asks, what's the recovery secret? Eat good food and work out and take care of your body. That's it. I bounced back pretty quick though, but it was rough. It was very rough. It hit me hard.
Spots, and we are here tonight as tension rises in Iran. And real questions about the way forward.
Yeah, Marco Rubio's had a lot of spotlight on him lately. The Venezuela operation went very well, and he is in a very powerful position right now, as is Scott Bessent.
Barry, we got back, man. We're excited.
We're heading toward 3 years of economic boom, which, of course, the president wants to make a reality in this speech tonight as well. So he feels very good about his cabinet. He told us that today.
Let's take a moment and listen to the action on the floor as we pause to the top of the hour on our special coverage of the President's State
Secretary of State Mark Rubio, Bessent, Department of War Pete Hegseth. Looks like Mitchum was behind him.
live look at the U.S. Capitol and inside the House chamber. It's a brisk evening here in Washington, D.C. as we are now just moments away from President
Susie
Trump
Wiles,
and tonight's State of the
Chief
Union
of
address.
Staff.
Good evening from Washington. I'm Brett Baer.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. Any moment now,
Dude, Martha McCallum just looks so good. Just saying it. I'm saying it.
Call of the Sergeant of Arms. He will make his way down the aisle, and he will get lots of handshakes who all want a second with the president as he makes his way in. And then he's going to lay out what we expect will be a look at a positive agenda that he feels he has accomplished. He wants to lay that out to lawmakers as he lays out his case for the first year here. And, of course, to the American people, who he will be working to persuade tonight
nice, JD.
that he's
Keep
on
it up.
the right track.
Keep working.
And that he should be in a good position to move the economy into an even stronger place.
There you see the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. There's Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, shaking the hands of the Supreme Court. With that, let's bring in senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich, live from the North Lawn with a preview. Good evening, Jackie.
Good evening, Brett. Good evening, Martha. We just got some excerpts of the speech. As expected, heavy focus on the economy and immigration, the two issues that put President Trump in office a second time. He takes a victory lap on his efforts to lower costs for things like prescription drugs and housing. And he takes a swipe at Democrats for the partial government shutdown, giving a defense of DHS for protecting the country from cartels, violence, and drugs. Now, the White House is teasing some possibilities tonight with a bingo card they just posted to X. Some are more likely than others. I would bet he does say the economy is so hot or that we were once a dead country. But I would say after the Olympic hockey loss, not so likely that Canada becomes the 51st state tonight. Guys.
Jackie Heinrich live on the North Lawn. Jackie, thanks.
All right, let's bring in our panel for a go-round before the president gets started here. Laura Ingraham of the Ingraham Angle, Dana Perino, co-anchor of America's Newsroom and co-host.
While they do that, I'll do this. I want to thank everybody so much for joining us tonight. This will be our sixth State of the Union. To be honest, I just realized that. That's incredible. So 6 State of the Unions, Susie Wiles, DHS Secretary Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, DNI Secretary, or DNI Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, amazing. Whole bunch of people. This is great stuff. So want to say thank you guys for being here. This is amazing. These are always great nights for us. We always have a ton of people watching. And I'm really glad you chose us. We try not to interrupt the coverage. We every I don't know 10 minutes or so, I'll just come in and I'll say a quick something just to, usually during lulls or massive claps, I'll come in and make a comment just so we can keep the copyrights away. They've gotten pretty good with our channel, leaving us alone for these State of the Union. So share it with your friends. We don't do a lot of cussing or embarrassing stuff. We usually have a good night tonight. So put your questions in chat. We'll talk during the breaks. There will be plenty of moments with no talking from the president, and we appreciate you. This show isn't free. We're not paid by big sponsors. We don't have the RNC, or Donald Trump doesn't give us money, or any of the news agencies. We put this on ourselves, and we're self-funded by viewers. And you can go to thedumbshow.com/donate if you would like to donate and help the show out. Let's get going. And if you want, also, you can pick up some shirts and hats and stuff like that. We've got a lot of great merchandise. Go take a look at thedumbshow.com.
And I think, you look at Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio there together as they came in together earlier. They've been kind of, in a way, the stars of this
Utah,
cabinet,
good to have you here.
There you look at Kristi Noem, the DHS Secretary. Laura, obviously she's been under fire for some of the decisions about ICE and other things. It doesn't seem like the president, though, is in any hurry to get rid of anybody in his cabinet before the midterms.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath if you're waiting for President Trump to fire any of them.
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you, buddy.
He both values competence and loyalty. And if you've been loyal to his agenda, if you have a clear path to try to fulfilling what he campaigned on
JD. Tell Connor,
so
good job.
powerfully, then you'll probably stay. Or he'll find another job for you that you'd like just as much. But to the point about this cabinet that Britt raised, Bessent, Rubio, General Kane, Zeldin, Chris Wright, this is an incredible group of individuals who could be doing anything with their time, extremely successful.
Yeah, I saw Damani's bingo card. It was hilarious. I'll pick it up and put it on real quick.
Point in our nation's history, and are trying to do something that is very tough, which is take on the old establishment and remake the Republican Party in a way they think represents a wider swath of the American public. a lot of resistance to what they want to do. But boy, has he assembled a group of people overall who are absolutely out of this world competent.
So, Dana, we talked about how these speeches do not generally have soaring rhetoric, but I think there is a platform set here for the potential for that if the president achieves it tonight. We saw Marco Rubio's speech in Europe that was absolutely that kind of soaring rhetoric. We're in the 250th anniversary of the country, and we do have an indication that he may reach into history a bit tonight to lay down a good argument for American exceptionalism. Well, it's a wonderful opportunity. Like,
wow, it's almost like we heard that a few minutes ago.
To the greatest extent.
Fox News, seriously. Seriously. State of the Union bingo card. Dems hold up a sign. Mexican cartel, no tax on tips, voter ID tariffs, crime way down. Jeffrey Epstein, Dems refuse to clap, Somali fraud, U.S. chant. Oh, I gotta go.
Of the United States.
Good timing.
Trying to listen in to some of these discussions. A lot of selfies on the way. That's a new element, Harold, as we've seen these State of the Union addresses continue. Steve Scalise and the group escorting the president in behind him. You know, he does have a lot of support in the Republican Party.
So somebody just asked, like, who's the woman walking with Trump? It's going to be a member of his cabinet, and it's probably his personal secretary, is what I would assume. I don't know that for a fact. But the sergeant at arms comes in and makes the announcement. And that is absolutely routine. And I believe it would be his personal secretary. And the reason why is because she writes his schedule. She keeps his schedule. She works for the chief of staff diligently. She may be an assistant to Susie Wiles. These are all guesses on my part. I haven't seen her, and that leads me to believe that I'm correct, because usually you don't see the personal secretary of the president or the body man for the president. You might see them in the background. So let's listen. I enjoy the questions. Keep them coming, and let's rock and roll. Yes, Dems are on the right as we're seeing it, and Republicans are on the left as we're seeing it, and that's always the way it is.
See how he connects the dots tonight. I'm rooting for him, but you got to understand, tonight's a little different night than it was for him a year ago.
Now, somebody should have told him about his hair. But honestly, I don't care about that. I don't, whatever.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Big night for President Donald J. Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, the State of the Union Address 2026.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
I thought Al Green wasn't there. I thought he was not going to be there. You guys telling me Al Green's there? We're not behind, are we?
In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Yeah, I didn't see Al Green. He wasn't supposed to be there, guys. That's what they said earlier, but looks like they let him in, and then he did what he did.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
Want to thank the new viewers who are watching. 300 plus are watching, over 104 on Facebook, 149 on Twitter. Thank you so much. You guys go to thedumbshow.com/donate to help out the show. For streaming this tonight, we would appreciate it. But watch either way. Thanks.
New businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built. We have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud.
There we go.
The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Oh, dude, so good. So good. I'm going to let you hear this, but the fact that he got it within the first 15 minutes, as most people turn it off, they lose almost 25% of the audience in the first 15. First half hour over 50. This is great. Listen.
Go ahead. They do. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuyck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given, and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
That's huge.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both, I got him in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place, and now I've got him because I got the Olympics, and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for donating $21.10. Come on, everyone, let's help out, get this party started. Thank you, Mel.
Celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Wow.
So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
Other people who've won the Presidential Medal of Freedom, guys, people are making a big deal about this. Michael Jordan, Kareem, Yogi Berra won it. Jim Brown, Montana, Gretzky, Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods, Bobby Orr. This isn't new, folks, and this isn't sports. They are at the White House. This is ceremonial. It happens all the time.
Rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby, $31.10 USA. Love you all. Thanks, Bobby.
I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
Wow.
And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And
just to let you guys know, the Legion of Merit is like the 7th most important medal that you can receive in the military. It's pretty impressive.
Go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to
John, we're praying for you, buddy. Thanks for being here tonight. God bless you.
In American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
Oh, scumbags. Scumbags.
They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and her expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also...
Debbie Boggs donated $40. God bless America. Keep praying for President Trump and our country. Well said, Debbie. Thank you.
I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
Thanks for subscribing there, Carl. Appreciate you.
These young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to TrumpAccounts.gov. TrumpAccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. They're setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth, and the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America.
It's the most human I've ever seen him. And I'll tell you, a couple of people that I talked to were very, very specific about a very different Donald Trump.
From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
This is the President Trump that will win the midterms. If this is the message he's going to go rally, these midterms are ours because this will sell.
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price. So in my first year of the second term, Should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Riley, I just linked to you the polling stations in Virginia. I think it's open now until the 18th for early voting, and then obviously April the 23rd. No, I'll have the dates for you in a second. Go there.
For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. Okay,
I'm going to go ahead and do this because we're good on this. Special elections the 21st, and Alexander City Council early in person is from March 6th to April 18th, and then Election Day is the 21st. And I just sent the link to you of where to find your polling station.
$3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom. So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that.
Shut up, Ilon.
And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that...
Dude, say quiet, Piggy, please. Please say it to Omar.
Like you wouldn't believe.
Please say quiet,
Piggy. So tonight,
Piggy.
although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance.
Just shut her up quick.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates,
Her brother's got her. Don't worry about it.
taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not
nice
playing
kafaya.
games. Delilah.
Fucking terrorist.
Delilah Colvin was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California.
Folks, this is one of those times we just got to take a step back and just interrupt for a second. Want to say thank you to the 42 watching on YouTube. 109 on Facebook, 204 on X. And I don't even know Rumble right now. I'm sure it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I don't know where we're at. Maybe someone can tell us. Folks, we're at 169.70. We're on for 3 hours tonight. I know people forget to do goal. What I don't want to do is have to stay even later. Family's waiting for me. We know this is probably going to go to almost 11. So if we can continue to help out with donations, we would appreciate it. It means a great deal to us. Go to thedumbshow.com/donate. Here's the rest of this. Oh, and if you can't donate, just hit the like button. That helps out a lot, too. That's free, it's easy, and it takes 1 second.
Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off.
Get them.
It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate you. $15. Thank you.
United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislator to join with my...
God, they won't shut up. Jeff Honeycutt donating $50, loving the dumb show. Thanks, Jeff.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Who? Democrats right there. Democrats are showing you right there they don't give a shit about Americans. Look at that. They can't even agree with that. Sorry. They're clapping. It's bullshit. Look at him. He's like, you can't stand up for American citizens. He's just completely exposing them. Exposing them. Right on public display. 37 million people get to see this. Anonymous donated $30.30. Thanks for airing this for us, Matt. You got it. And I know who you are. Thank you. Expose them. Every one of them. Just say at the end of this, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Just hit them again. Hit them again. Keith Baker donating $25. Best show online. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Keith. Nice. Nice. Nice.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up.
That a boy, right like I said it.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases,
oh, buddy.
Murderers all over our country.
Exposed.
The removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah! Get her! The man and I have similar qualities of thinking about timing and placement. That was perfect.
Most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Want some to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats.
Joanne Townsend with $10. Thank you, Joanne.
Policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
George doesn't have to say it again. It wasn't him that said it. It's Democrats that say that voter ID is racist and it's too hard for women and minorities to get an ID. Focus. Pay attention to the show. Learn more.
There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
This isn't your grandpa's Donald Trump, man. This is second-term Trump, and he ain't screwing around.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to...
God bless the country, and thanks for the show, Matt. Yes, Robert, thank you. 1776.
To a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter...
Problem is, you don't know we didn't make it about race. We are using the words of them against them. Like I said, listen more, talk less.
Terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Gentlemen. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth. to Independence Initiative. It's really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight, we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
So I'm not going to go into this anymore, but I got to take a second because ignorance is annoying, and there is nobody more ignorant than George at times. And so I'm going to call it out because, hey, Gregory Harrison, $47. Thank you, Matt, for broadcasting. Hey, we appreciate it, Greg. Bro, you don't listen. This is the problem with you. And you have very similar qualities to another person who doesn't listen. Is you're not hearing what John said. John said black people can't get voter ID. He wasn't being racist. That is what Democrats are saying. That is the reason they are saying voter ID can't work in America, because they're minorities, they're blacks or women, that they aren't smart enough. That is the subtle innuendo that they are making. And all he is doing is quoting their words and their issue and presenting it. And you're calling him not human, me not human. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. Find another show.
So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zarutska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the left.
This one's going to get to me now.
She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it.
All right, just lost the feed. I'm going to get this back open right away. There we go. We got it.
So sorry. Thank you very much.
Got that back quick.
She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much.
The guy's got more honor than Blumenthal in his entire life. Stolen valor. Sit down, you clown. You do not even deserve to be in his presence. Stolen valor douche.
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
That's awesome. Wow.
We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. My first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared.
Pretty amazing. Of course, Democrats are just exposing themselves, and this is the thing. There's no change. They're so much worse than they were with Biden, and it's just going to progress. This is why they're called progressives. They get progressively worse. Folks, the Don't Unfriend Me Show, you can reach out to thedumbshow.com/donate. $364.76 is where we're at. We're about $136 away from goal, I think, roughly. Marco Rubio's getting some applause right now. If you want to go pick up some coffee, some shirts, some hats, whatever, please go do that. Use code DUM10 for discount, DUM10. And then also would love to try to hit gold tonight. We're probably another 30 minutes away, I would say.
People like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back, but we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country.
See, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are their policies suck. They're horrible, but they're not evil. That's the thing y'all need to understand, is they're not evil. And now that Nancy Pelosi is gone, you're seeing the real Democratic Party. She used to keep them in line. She would tell them how to act. And if they broke ranks, she would crush them. They're leaderless now. And the real side, the progressives, the socialists are coming out. And even though that Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are absolutely progressive socialists, they aren't even as far left as these guys are. This is what you need to understand.
Pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Yeah, like I said, Elizabeth Warren has a heart. Bernie Sanders has a heart. They're just bleeding hearts. But they have turned socialists into halfway decent when it comes to their personal beliefs. I mean, it's just this party is evil now. And Sanders doesn't belong, and either does Klobuchar, either does Warren. They're the old dinosaurs of the left. These people are evil.
We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request.
Lindsey Graham is a complete snake. He should be sitting with the Democrats.
Rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of them. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently... And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute, for $1 more we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl.
Love you, Mel. Thanks, son. DJT is kicking ass. Yeah, this is by far his best State of the Union. And he does, it's IDGAF. He has no more to give.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched, they saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at the Space Force. Space Force is my baby, because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandra Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's.
Maddie Hollanday, Trump, unlike Biden, is the 10 toes down and standing on business, $40.24. Thanks for pushing us over the top, Maddie.
Again, she feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already.
Maureen, thank you for your help tonight. Go get some rest. Thank you, hon. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover.
Wow.
Planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive
Love you,
Chinook.
son. Good night.
Carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine guns stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, we probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take this searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy, come on in.
Holy shit. He's about to get the Congressional Medal of Honor. This guy's about ready to get the Congressional Medal of Honor, everybody. CMH right here, folks. Most of you have probably never seen this before.
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House. And Eric will be there. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time.
Thank you, Kimmy. $20. Thank you for giving us all a place to watch this together. Feels like family. Yes, it does.
History. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago. 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters,
Christine, no, my camera didn't freeze. I froze. And yeah, the people who serve understand.
Civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together, we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right, President Trump, the speech began at 9:11 Eastern Time. It is the longest state.
All right. Well, you're not going to steal my thunder, Martha, so shut up. I'm just going to tell you that. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Sorry, Martha. Longest speech ever was 2000, Bill Clinton, I believe. 88 minutes is, if I recall. I happened to go through the speeches very much. I fancy myself as a writer. And I've read them all several times, and I get inspiration from them. This is very similar to Eisenhower. FDR had an amazing one with WW2. I would put this. Oof. Reagan was pretty strong too. Yeah, I'd put this as probably the best State of the Union I've ever heard. It certainly was the best State of the Union as far as the keywords that I wrote down. I wrote down a shit ton of notes. I love the last line: bigger, better, brighter than ever before. My keywords, just, the 5. Hope, something Obama promised and didn't deliver. I felt hopeful. I felt like nothing was impossible. The level of accountability, holy shit, was that amazing. I've never seen a president he didn't tell anyone to shut up. He didn't glare at him. He just talked right over him. He shouted them down and said, I got the mic. This is my platform. This is my night. Shut your face. Quiet, piggy. Strength. Recognition. I was humble tonight. He was handing out accolades to everybody. I love that. I love the joke about the Medal of Honor. Can't give it to myself. But most importantly, the thing that I think I took away from this is unification by separation. And I hate to say it. His entire speech, we had it clocked. I think it was, an hour and 47 minutes? Incredible. When I started, I was like 92, 96. I knew it was going to be the longest in history. I didn't know it was going to be that long. There was a lot of applause. But my line is unification by separation. And it's kind of an oxymoron if you think about it. It kind of contradicts itself. But I hate to say it. The only way we're going to unify as a country is by separating the Democrats and their evil, evil platform from America. We have to repudiate it. We have to beat it with better policy. We have to codify the laws that are needed to be codified. And the executive orders that have been pushed through, that have been proven to work, need to be pushed through. We have to stand resolute. We have to pass the SAVE Act. We're not done. We got so much more to go. And there needs to be no more squabbling between the Senate and the House. They have got to get busy. Unification by separation. Because the thing is that if you're growing a garden, you have to till the earth. You have to remove the weeds. You have to barricade it from rodents. And if you expect to have any carrots or any potatoes or any broccoli or sweet peas or whatever it is, you have to harbor and create a sovereignty around that garden to ensure that nothing gets in that is going to destroy it, that is going to erode at its very essence and its organic nature. And you have to root out the things that are going to corrupt that garden and make it vulnerable and unhealthy, and that is the Democratic Party. I don't care what the Democrats have to say, and America's already asleep, and they don't fucking care either. Just let you know. The only people who are going to listen to it are the people who are already going to vote Democrat and hate him. But unification by separation. By separating ourselves away from Democrats, this is the solution. People say, is there ever a time that Democrats and Republicans can get together and see eye to eye? No, those days are done. Now it's unification by complete separation, by setting ourselves apart from them and eradicating them from American politics. That they are an archaic fossil in the next 25 to 30 years. That we look back on this time and we say that we were infiltrated. This country was infiltrated by evil, evil people. And we will never go back there again. Just like the Hessians, just like the Cossacks. Not allow ourselves to be betrayed from within. Tonight, the Democrats exposed themselves for being completely anti-American. That's it. That's it. Best speech I've heard in a long time. I will listen to it again. I think it had everything I said it was going to be. I think I called a lot of those things. I think there's a lot of ammunition for senators and state representatives to run on how Democrats acted. And they can show those clips and see that. Donald Trump shone the light on the cockroaches of America. I hate to say it. That's what they are. They're cockroaches. At least tonight they were. You know? And I got to give it up to the Democrats that actually stood. And there were few. Mostly the old salt. Mostly the old salt. But anyway, best State of the Union I've ever read, ever heard, and I've read every State of the Union. That was amazing. So, folks, I hope you had a good night. I want to say thank you for the overwhelming goal. We will be back tomorrow with Jack and Mandy. We're going to show you the video Marxism in America, their documentary that they just made for Newsmax. It'll be here. We're going to play it live. Go to bed. Love you.
Love you.
Glad you're feeling better. So Wednesday, let's rock and roll. I'm going to go listen to Spanberger a little bit while I eat my yogurt. Time to go. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. God bless. Thanks for taking care of me. So glad we're back on Facebook. This is really a big stress relief for me. And congratulations to Carrie for being a jacket winner. Thank you for the people who participated. I'm telling you, I've got a different outlook on some things, and I'm going to be talking about that over the next few weeks. But just a different outlook on how I interact with people, how I talk to people, how I don't engage with the trolls who don't deserve to be engaged with. We got rid of the people who are scumbags tonight, and that's just the way it's going to be. I don't have time for you people. I've graduated from you. I cut my teeth on you guys, and honestly, you're still stuck in fucking second grade. And at the level I'm at mentally and from an experiential standpoint, you guys are, no offense, you're fucking beneath me. I'm keeping you out of our show. You don't deserve to be here. If you want to have a conversation, if you want to pick up the phone, if you want to have a dialogue, great. If you want to have a monologue, then go jerk off in front of the mirror or something. Because I have no desire. We're not doing it anymore. Taking it to the next level, folks. Good night. God bless. See you tomorrow, Wednesday. Be here, 7 o'clock. Have a good one. That was a fun one tonight. Good night.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.